Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Okay, double honors go out to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, who continue through the Holy Spirit to give us His truth. All right. They deal it out. The Holy Spirit, of course, is responsible for making you understand this knowledge and wisdom that's being given. All right. This is Norman with the DC camp. And, well, what do we have here? Once again, this is one of these, how should I say, one of these acts by our oppressor, all right, a token gesture, if you will, just to make it seem like he's doing something when actuality, all right, he's just, putting up a front. This says Congress passes Equal Act, a bill that seeks to eliminate sentencing disparities harshly doled out to so-called African Americans. You know how I know it's bullshit? Because this same thing has been going on for like 40 years. All right. And you can say it was in the press a lot as late as the Bill Clinton presidency. So we're talking, from 93. And then they had that, once again, to fool Jake. What did they do with your current president, then a senator, with that crime bill? All right. So let's get into it. This is by Stacey Brown. She's senior correspondent. And it says, Salaki, it says, 2 minutes before members of the U.S. House of Representatives cast their vote, District of Columbia Attorney General Carl Racine weighed in on H.R. 1693, the Equal Act. Congress should pass the Equal Act to finally end the unfair sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. By eliminating the disparity entirely, the bill would address long-standing racial discrimination in our criminal justice policy. This reform is overdue. Again, I'm not going to take too long with this because, like I said, it's bullshit. But come on now. Here it is. You put drugs in our neighborhoods. And this is just more bullshit you hurled at Jake just to keep him off balance, to make sure that, and Jordan Maxwell went into this. You have to have things like this. All right, and we know that we are a prey here. We were never meant to prosper in this society. And all the legislation they drummed up ever since the so-called Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 and the so-called, end of the Civil War in 1865, what did it do? They looked for other means to get free labor. And where I'm going with this is the establishment of the prison industrial complex and the legislation that backed it up, so as to make it easier for Jake to get locked up and into the system, all right, where they could take further advantage of us. Remember the 13th Amendment, all right, and the wording there you have to pay close attention to, all right, where it goes into voluntary and involuntary slavery, and then the 14th Amendment behind that. But you got to remember, it was a case, what year was it? 1857. I'm talking about, dadgummit, I hate when that happens. Not Plessy, Ferguson. Hold on. Let's see. It was the one before that, but I can't remember what. Let's see. There we go. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. So, Lucky, I just want to get to this while it's fresh in my mind, because what I'm talking about is about 40 years before this. Let's see. Separate but equal. Okay. Dred Scott. Now it comes to me. I hate when that happens. Dred Scott. And what it was say was it Justice Taney said a black person has no rights, by which a so-called white person, all right, is bound to respect, something along those lines. And it's always going to be like that because number one, this is spiritual warfare between the descendants of Jacob, which we are, all right, uh, and the descendants of his brother Esau, all right, who's the father of the nation of Edom, who refer to themselves as white folk, all right. It's always going to be that way until he is taken out. All right, continuing on, it says the reform is now closer to happening after Congress 2 weeks ago passed the legislation by 143 to 16 vote. And this is the thing, it's like, what does it matter now? We're at the end. So fucking what? All the lives that were ruined, which was the goal, all right, ever since Nixon's crooked ass. All right. See, they all work together. You think, well, Johnson, if he had, no. He just had a different approach. This whole, we go into Revelation 13 and 11, this whole, where, well, let me get it. It's all set up. It is all set up to work against us, no matter who's in there. And that's what our people don't understand. Well, vote for this person, vote for them, and look at the asshole that you put in. I said 11. Let's see. And it says Revelation 13 and 11. And it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And what we're getting into here, in the revised Roman Empire, which America is, what you have is, as in ancient Rome, you had the plebeians and the patricians. Now you have the Democrats and Republicans, respectively. All right? So, neither one is our friend. All right? But our people want to latch on to the Democrats who just have, like I said, a different approach. All right? They want to drown you, and let's give them everything that they want, and you wonder why our neighborhoods, by and large, are the way they are. All right? It says, it says the Bipartisan Equal Act would eliminate the sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. Like I said, this came up during the Clinton administration, all right, and Biden was a part of that. It also would allow those currently serving time for crack offenses to motion for reduced sentences. Under current federal laws, individuals caught with 28 grams of crack receive the same sentence as someone caught with 500 grams of powder cocaine. Damn. Despite the American Medical Association's findings that there is no chemical difference between the two forms of the substance. So again, this is just a tool for them to get what? Jake in the system. All right. And this is Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. Who are they talking about? Us. All right. The Israelites. It says, they are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey. That's Prey, and we are. And none delivereth for a spoil, and none saith restore. Wow. All right. And that's how they get you. You gotta, in this society, dealing with this devil, you're bound by his contracts. All right, all of his, from the most minuscule of his laws, it's like, and you wonder why Jake's stress levels, always high, because you're catching it from all angles. All right, let's see. This is starting with the 1980s version of the war on drugs. And remember, it says 1980s version. There was one before that. It says those caught with small amounts of crack, primarily people of color, received decades longer prison sentences than those with powder cocaine. Overwhelmingly, Edomites. All right, so-called white individuals. According to Human Rights Watch, African Americans comprise 62.7%, and white people 36.7% of all drug offenders admitted to state prison. Federal surveys and other data clearly show that this racial disparity bears scant relation to racial differences in drug offending. Bullshit. There's a He's since been retired for a while now. His last name was Fogg. I believe it's Fogg. He was a deputy U.S. Marshal, and he was about his business. I believe his nickname was Batman. And it was all well and good until he wanted to go in the suburbs where the so-called white people live, and their kids, and he was pulled to the side and was told, you better rethink that, because people out there in the burbs, they're lawyers and judges and doctors. In other words, we can't run that game on them because of who they are. And that's when he got his moment. You know, sad, but I can't remember his first name. Shouldn't be hard to find. He's a light skinned brother. Uh, but like I said, God, I can't remember. And matter of fact, let's go ahead. Let's see if I can't find him. Let's see. Deputy. Oops. How did I do that? Whoops. Let's see. U.S. Marshal. Let's see. Yeah, this is him right here. Let's see. Retired Chief Deputy Matthew. So he got way up there. All right. No, I don't want to keep it. Here it is. Chief Deputy Matthew Fogg, retired, U.S. Marshal Service, Washington, D.C. Yeah, this is him right here. He joined in 78. Let's see. Attorney General, American Federal Bar Association. Okay. And he was awards for tracking down over 300 of America's most wanted and dangerous fugitives. Fogg's advocacy for LEAP and for equal justice under the law has allowed him to promote expert commentary for TV, radio, and print media. All right, but I don't. Let's see. Let's see. They're not going to go into. But this is him right here. All right. Yeah, so he's been retired for a while now. So now you know who he is. All right. Let's see. But we all know that, hey, the only thing that's going to solve our problem is getting the fuck up out of here. Let's go and find what I read. And let's see, Isaiah 42 and 22. All right. Let's see. Robbed and spoiled, which we are. We know we're under the curses, Deuteronomy 28th chapter. For what? Disobedience. And a prey. This is Strong's H 957. Boz. Spoiled. Booty. That's what we are. All right. We are a conquered people. All right. Let's see. To be plundered. All right. That's like we always bring up all the time. Why would anybody want to stay here? It's the same old bullshit. Hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month. It's designed so we as a people cannot prosper. Psalms 83rd chapter. There is a conspiracy. All right? You have to know that. Why else would, and I'm going to get it real quick, other people come over here and prosper? And we don't. Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh, thy power, which letting you know this is the God of the Israelites and no one else, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Most High Yahweh, thy power, will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. See there, Deuteronomy 7:6. All right. Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh, thy power. 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And the one I had just mentioned about others coming over here, all right, and prospering, and we not. Well, first of all, you have to know about these curses. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword, nigger, coon, jigaboo, porch monkey, prairie nigger, tar baby, all that other shit, among all nations, whether the Most High Yahweh shall lead thee. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. We should plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. In other words, this whole chapter, from 15 to 68, is the Israelites' Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. All right? It says, and here's what I was talking about the other nations. It says, 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt lend to him. Look at all these immigrants that come and pitch tents, set up in our neighborhoods, and run shit. Anywhere you go. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. And what did I say? It all goes back to disobedience. Because, 47, because thou servest not the Most High Yahweh thy power, with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore, 48, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Who else fits this? Just a few that I've read here. I encourage you, for those that are not familiar with this, go ahead and read and ask yourself, do those rats over there in Israel fit this? Everybody, to some extent, might get 1, 2, 3, or whatever, but the whole damn chapter? Nuh-uh. And they know this. That's why they don't teach. The emphasis is not on prophecy, all right, in your harlot houses that they call churches, all right, or your theological schools. Because here's the sad fact, that Holocaust bullshit is only there so you have something as a distraction to look at and say, oh, those are the Jews. Well, look what they went through. But that's not prophecy. This describes us, not them sorry sons of bitches over there. And they knew this. When you get deep into the Nuremberg trials, some of the testimonials, and knowing a little bit of the history, it will tell you that those Germans, you hear, well, I was just following orders, but the thing is, where did they get their inspiration from? And you will find out that the inspiration for what Germany did to those things over there came from how the U.S. dealt with us. I shit you not. And they copied directly. The one I still remember was what happened again on the borders. This dealing with the borders just didn't happen in, recently, or even in my lifetime. When you go to World War I, around 1917, they were having problems down on the southern border there, Texas, Mexico, because there's a history with that as it involves uh, the Alamo and all that. It's huge history there. But from the time of World War One, they were dealing with the Northern Kingdom, Issachar, and how they would detain them coming across the borders. And at that same time, that same era, they were having problems with. Well, they say they were having problems, but you got to remember these people know the history. Our people don't, because it's their land. So you had incidents with Pancho Villa and other revolutionaries, down in Mexico. But you've always grown up with the American bullshit take on the history. All right, you have to factor that in. But back to what I'm telling you with Issachar, they would have instances where they would have them take baths with kerosene because they considered them so dirty. And I know at least on one occasion someone lit the vat or tub that was filled with kerosene uh, and burned some Issacharites. And of course, this is an Edomite. But this, what I'm trying to tell you is the way they treated those so-called Jews over there. This just didn't come out just pure out of a vacuum. No, in the history of these Edomites, there's nothing original about them. All right. So that's why you have to look. You have to look. You have to be able to dig. And that's one of the things. Even what was it? The History Channel did a docu-series on that. All right. But you're never going to hear that because, after all, who runs all the presses? Who owns all this shit? Exactly. Before I even got it out of my mouth. You should already know that. That it's a game that's being played here. That has always been played. They have to spin that narrative to keep that lie going because it has enabled them to become so fucking rich that they run the world. All right? And you think they want to give that up? Fuck no. All right? So let's see if there's anything left with that, with this article here. It says, relative to population, black men are admitted to state prison on drug charges at a rate that is 13.4 times greater than that of white men. All right. We already know all this. Black people are incarcerated for all offenses at 8.2 times the rate of white. 1 in every 20 black men over the age of 18 in the United States is in state or federal prison, compared to 1 in 180 white men. See, the numbers bring it home. The eye-opening report concluded that, shocking as such national statistics are, they mask even worse racial disparities in individual states. All this is telling you, you can go around and smile. We do things I realize we do things that, we try to deal, but hey, this man is losing his kingdom. I've got to ask this question, as I often do in my videos, knowing what this wicked piece of shit did in order to acquire the wealth and his status in the world. We know the things that he did to get it. Now you got to ask yourself, what is he willing to do to keep it? Daniel 12:1 is there for a reason. Akim and a few Aquas that are watching. It's there for a reason. How it's going to get so bad that the Archangel Michael is going to have to stand up for his people. Let's go there. This is Daniel 12:1. It says, and at that time, which is coming, shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. That's the book of life. Yeah, it's going to get bad. So this devil now, he wants to see who's with him. That's what this is all leading up to. All this being part of the Juice Crew, all these masks, these are uh, ways in which he's discovering who's with me. All right, and it's leading to something. And it's leading to the MOTB. That's the mark of the beast. All right, he's playing mind games now. It says these racial disparities in drug offenders admitted to prison skew the racial balance of state prison populations. In 2 states, 1 in every 13 black men is in prison. In 7 states, black people are incarcerated at more than 13 times the rate of whites. It says although prison should be used as a last resort to protect society from violent or dangerous individuals, more people are sent to prison in the United States for nonviolent drug offenses than for other crimes of violence, the authors determined. The Equal Act also removes conspiracy charges that have contributed to numerous years of sentencing for drug offenses, particularly African Americans. But again, like I said at the onset, this is just posturing. They meet every year. I was in Philadelphia, I believe it's August. ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. All right. They're by and large, through their lobbying and all of this, responsible for your private prison industry. All right. See, this is never going to end while you're here. That's why we push. All right. Try to tell our people. While this Edomite is over us, it's never going to be any good because he wants that birthright back. That's what this is all about. The birthright he sold in Genesis 25th chapter. He wants that back. He'll say, Jacob, he lied, he cheated, he stole. But the thing is, you've proven, we're just talking about from the Renaissance to this time, you've proven how unworthy you are to have it. Hey, so with that, I just said, I went way over, but hey, that's the spirit sometimes. It says Congress passes Equal Act, a bill that seeks to eliminate sentencing disparities harshly doled out to African Americans. If you believe this shit, hey, keep dreaming. It's not much anybody can do. At this late stage of the game, if you still believe in, America, then hey, to hell with you. And hey, so with that, shalom.